Stamkos, does it again. He's having a remarkable year. And there's a guy that I felt for him this week. He had the quote, I think it was yesterday, when it came out. It was official today. It's been official for a better part of a week. The NHL players are not going to the Olympics. But Stamkos missed out on the 14 games because he broke his leg and couldn't rehab quick enough and get back. He wasn't there in 2010, and now he won't be there this year in 2022. And he basically said, I don't see myself there in 4 years. Like, if we're being honest, based on where he is with his age, with his game, this year he had to have, I think, a big season to make the team. I don't think he was on it on Labor Day, and I think he's done more than enough to put himself on it this year. I think he was going to Beijing. And that's what's really got to sting, is that, a guy like that, who I think is a Hall of Famer.
You feel for him.
He's got his 2 cups and his captaincy and a first overall pick. He's had a great career, yet he's going to miss out on the international hockey. He's going to miss out on the Olympics. And he showed up with probably this in mind. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he realized when he got to camp this year that he had to make the team. He had to do that as a guy over 30 who's had ups and downs. He had to make the team, and I think Stamkos made the team based on merit, and he won't be able to go.
I agree, and there's another thing. Like, you go through, I was thinking this last night. They wouldn't do it, but wouldn't it be neat if Team Canada released the roster? Like,
this was going to be our
people
team,
go
basically?
crazy. Yeah, this hey, you know what? We're not going, but here's who we were taking. And you'd be interested to see who was on it. Like, would Cirelli make it? Would Mangiapane make it? Would Stamkos? Would Tavares? Like, people that we believed, were kind of on that, not bubble's the wrong word, but just weren't locks. I think it'd be awesome, but
I do want an answer, right?
I just want the content, right?
We've been debating it forever too, and that's the whole point of the build-up in putting forth your teams and talking about it, is that eventually you get an answer on whether or not you're right or wrong. And now it's just going to be it'll be a never-ending debate. Like, people will be yelling at each other in bars 10 years from now. I'm telling you, Mangiapane was going to make that team. It's like, give us an answer here, please. I'm with you.
But what if they were just like, you know what, we were going with Tom Wilson over Mitch Marner? People's heads would explode.
Yes,
right?
they would.
Like, it would be great for, fodder. It would be great for fodder.
What do you guys think, Noodles, just you talking about Stamkos made me think of Crosby. Do you guys think, I kind of still think there would be a chance that if they go next time around that he could be on it? I was just thinking, Niedermayer was wasn't he 40 when, and it's a different position and everything like that, but don't you think there's still a chance that someone like that would go, or no?
Well, Scott retired at 36, and hockey was too easy for Scott Niedermayer. He could have played another 4 years. That's a unique situation. I think Crosby, if he's healthy, he's competitive enough, but it just – at what point, what's his game going to look like? And I know it's a different situation. For me anyways, Jonathan Toews has always been a lock previous years, right? Now, he's had the illness last year. He missed a full season. But that's a guy that was always in our minds, for mine for sure, kind of a lock. And then he wasn't even on my radar this year, where, I think when age starts to catch up with you or stuff like that, you're like, you move past. Now, Sidney Crosby's arguably one of the greatest players who ever played. So I don't know if that's fair for me.
I think there's a chance. I mean, you look at it.
I think so, too.
I look at a guy like Patrice Bergeron, who is an 85 birthday, and he's 36, and the belief was he was going to be on this team. Sid is 34, so he'll be 38. I don't think he'll be playing up the middle of the ice, but you're telling me Sidney Crosby can't be a guy in the wing as a potential, even if he's not in the top 2 or 3 lines.
Captain.
A guy strapped. Yeah, probably. What would get interesting there is you'd have a Gretzky-Lindros moment from '98, where it's like, is he still the captain? Do you not pass it on? Shouldn't it be McDavid if he's been waiting this long? Who knows? These are all topics of discussion for 4 years down the road. But I don't think I'd put some money down on it, Sid being there if he wants to in 4 years. Because he'll be in shape. As long as injuries don't put him out of it, he'll be in shape. And he's still a great player.
He's still a point-per-game player.
Yeah. Now, 4 years is a long time. That's a long, long time, especially with a guy who's north of 33, 34 years old. But 38 on the wing, I could see that being the case.
Now I want to do my 2026 Olympic team
Let's
projection.
fire things up. I got Connor Bedard, top line right wing. It's a lock.
Yeah,
it's a
crazy.
lot.
But you're right. Like, I thought Sid's comments rang true, where he said, like, this isn't a delay for a couple months. Like, he's saying it's 4 years, and you have to look long and hard of what people's career is going to look like. Like, the league is going to look different too. We have no idea. I mean, the game is changing so much,
Right.
that, what is the game going to look like at that point? But you know what? Him being such an amazing super athlete, like, I wouldn't bet against him. I just, when you look at Father Time, you have to wonder when it does catch up to everyone. Tom Brady's still doing it at, what, 44?
That's the
right?
crazy thing. Brady's still doing it, and LeBron is still doing it. Sid is in that company. Sid is that guy of the hockey world, and I mean, it might be a scenario where he's got to show up and do what we just said about Stamkos. Like, he's got to prove it that he still got it. And maybe that's something he'll still be reaching out for, because who knows where the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to be at. Like, that's another thing. What is Pittsburgh for the next 4 years? Are they still a cup contending team? Are they just a team that's going to make the playoffs? If they miss the playoffs, what happens with him and his career? There's so much uncertainty in terms of just the playoffs and trying to predict it.